How marvellous. Christmas. It started with the snow, a morning surprise, an unexpected snowfall, a blanket of white so perfect that it seemed to have fallen in an instant. A romantic idea of Christmas that had never happened before in my life. How marvellous. The children played in it for hours. To tell the truth, it wasn't only the youngsters. A snowball fight with the neighbours was a highlight. Laughter and screams of joy rang out everywhere. Everyone was happy. Groups of snowmen appeared in the park, on the streets, in the gardens. They were of every size. They almost looked like entire families, with the pieces of clothing adorning them. According to the news, there was snow everywhere in the world. Literally. A strange effect of climate change? Scientists were worried about the phenomenon, but I didn't want to think about it. It was Christmas Day, a day of celebration. I was busy with Christmas dinner for most of the afternoon, trying to forget that my husband wasn't going to make the toast that year. It was 6 o'clock when someone knocked on the door with such clear urgency that I couldn't ignore it. I left the table, chewing a mouthful of cake as I went to open the front door, and there I saw my neighbour, Anna, the mother of my son's best friend. "Marco? Have you seen Marco? Is he here? Please tell me he's here." Her expression was straight out of a horror movie, the mother terrified by her thoughts, in the grip of panic. "I'm sorry, Anna, but Marco isn't here. How long has it been since you last saw him?" She shook her head, frustrated. "Davide must know where he is. Davide! Davide!" She was right. They were always together, inseparable. I looked around towards the dining room. "Davide, come here, please." In a few seconds, my son arrived by my side. His voice was very low. He seemed frightened. "I'm here." "Did you hear the conversation?" He nodded yes. It was almost impossible not to have heard. "Marco disappeared more or less at noon, Mrs. Canto. We were, all the boys, in the park after the big snowball fight. We made snowmen together and I didn't notice exactly when he left. I thought he had gone home because when he turned 14 last month, he told me at school that he never wanted to do children's things again. Making snowmen is..." He sobbed, unable to continue for a moment. "I didn't think that. It makes no sense. But later I saw his cap on." He looked at me anxiously. "One of the snowmen. Why did he leave his cap if he didn't want to play?" Anna looked at me, eyes so wide open that it made me feel uncomfortable. I grabbed my coat and Davide's. "Let's go, show us." Anna, Davide and I stared at the snowman for long seconds. Then Anna ran towards it and tried to remove the cap. "It's frozen!" she screamed loudly, like a maniac. Already frozen? I was confused. The temperature had not dropped enough to freeze it so quickly. I wasn't cold. She shouted at me fiercely. "Help me!" I put my hand on her shoulder. "Leave it, Anna. That could be evidence. We should call the police." Evidence of what? I didn't know. I didn't want to think about it. Anna ignored me. "Water! Hot water! I need..." "No, Anna." She stared at me for ages. Then she collapsed on the ground, her tears a desperate river. There was no way to comfort her. I could only hug her and my son, who looked a ghostly colour, all of us kneeling in the snow. My gaze fixed on the hat, on the snowman, with only one question. Why did Marco put his hat there if he didn't want to play like a child? Davide was right. It didn't make sense. All the answers that my mind came up with were not comforting. Shortly after, fatigue hit me without warning. I closed my eyes just for a moment to try to clarify my thoughts, the last of which was that I felt the flakes of a new snowfall. The awakening. The sun woke me up. For a few moments I didn't know where I was. Then a wave of the scent of flowers hit me. I was outside, lying on the grass in the park. Next to me, Davide, Anna, and, not far away, Marco? Marco! The park! Apparently he was safe and sound. My voice was hoarse. What happened? Did we sleep? Here? And in one fell swoop, I realised something else. The snow. Where was the snow? I looked around. There was practically a crowd of people on the ground, all apparently in a state of shock. I felt a shiver down my spine. I looked at Anna. She had tears of joy in her eyes. It turned out that Marco knew nothing. As far as he knew, no more than a few minutes had passed. Actually, at least one night had passed. Davide touched me on my arm. "Mum, I'm hungry." I couldn't help but laugh. Things are always simple for children. "We'll have breakfast soon." It seemed to me that something else was wrong, and for quite a few moments I couldn't put my finger on it. Only when I stood up was it clear. The trees. They were huge and different. Different species than before? The shiver I had felt became a wave of fear that I couldn't get rid of. But I didn't say anything. I didn't want to sound alarmist. Things were already scary enough. The explanation. It was a shock like I had never experienced before. 3,000 years? The world had slept for 3,000 years. What? After months of analysis, scientists announced that the world had been in a form of stasis, a hibernation caused by that snow, for 3,000 years. Everyone agreed. Not a normal thing for scientists. In the meantime, the atmosphere had been renewed. Climate change was no longer something to worry about. The snow had disappeared, but there were traces of the chemicals everywhere. It had not been snow, if that wasn't obvious. I didn't have the ability to understand everything, but the scientists' analyses said that not only humans and animals had slept, but all technology, all things. Or rather, nothing broken, nothing rusted, nothing corroded. Everything had been covered, although inside a building, except the trees. The new trees. They were a previously unknown species on Earth, and had grown so large that they had the ability to renew the atmosphere on their own. 3,000 years of growth. Conspiracy theories were everywhere. The vast majority? Benevolent aliens, but also gods. people from another dimension, and a billionaire mad scientist, like an enemy of James Bond in a movie. I tried to imagine the face of a benevolent alien and silently thank them. The TV news. The International Energy Supply Conference, IESC, ended in Vienna this afternoon. The debate was tough, according to all the participants, but a statement from the president of the organisation was received with dismay and consternation by many people, because it gives the go-ahead for the total restart of drilling for oil. The president said, "We have a lot of time to better develop all the other ways of harnessing energy before we get to a new environmental crisis. In the meantime, we can enjoy the abundance of oil that still exists." Elsewhere. The button flashed red. The words written below in capital letters. The Earth. They shook their head. So soon? They didn't want to press the button, but rules were rules. Give only one chance. What a waste.